The Tourism Minister is not up to the job and the Prime Minister should take over the portfolio, according to one tour operator. Haka Tours offers bijou and premium adventures throughout the country, including multi-day tours of our ski slopes, mountain, cultural and beach trips. Today, as General Manager Eve Lawrence spelt out the dire situation faced by her industry when she appeared at the Epidemic Response Committee. Ms Lawrence wants a clear plan and some certainty from Tourism Minister Kelvin Davis, and will hear more from her shortly. But we asked the Minister onto the program this evening to outline his vision for tourism post-COVID-19 and to talk about what kind of support there might be for the industry. He declined our invitation. But here's a taste of the questions Kelvin Davis faced at today's Epidemic Response Committee hearing.
Make no mistake, tourism will not be the same globally. COVID-19 has seen to that, but because of our actions, New Zealand is better placed than most. And every step of the way, we've sought to make sure that our response has been balanced and timely. We won't be making announcements.
Look, I don't want to cut you off, but it was to be a brief opening remark, and I think that's sort of covered out where we're at.
I've got just a couple of very important points to make.
Well, I'm sure they're important to you, but what's important to this committee is that we get to ask you questions. So let's see if we have time for you to conclude at the end.
I'm just going to finish off what I've just got to say, because I won't be making announcements today, but I can confirm that on budget day, we'll be announcing further assistance for the tourism sector, and this will include a tourism response and recovery package. So I've listened to the sector, we've worked together, and as the Minister and as a government, I believe our response and recovery plan is balanced, timely and considered.
Just about all of the submitters have said the wage subsidy has delayed the inevitable, which is that redundancy notices are being issued as we speak. What's your response to that?
Well, we just have to be real in the first instance. We know that in level 4 and level 3, there was no tourism, and that has been really, really hard for businesses, and we acknowledge that. Under level 2, the recovery can begin, domestic tourism will start. But we've been open and honest from the outset that we will not be able to save every business and every job, and that the wage subsidy scheme and the other business support package measures were just there to soften the blow, and it's given people time to think about what it actually means for their particular business.
When the government announced first that there would be mandatory quarantine for all entries to New Zealand and then to shut the border completely, can you just summarise what was your input to government about the impact of that on tourism and the support for tourism that would be necessary?
Well, regardless of the decision that the government has made, I've put my case and my point on behalf of the industry to Cabinet. We make these decisions as a Cabinet. And
yeah, I know, but the question was, what was your feedback?
Well, I'm not going to go into what discussions were had or not had at any Cabinet meeting, but what I will say is that I have fed in the views of the industry throughout the whole process since the very beginning of the concerns around COVID. And we have made collective decisions throughout that time in what we think are the best interests of New Zealand. And as I said, our first inclination was around health, and the health decisions have driven the economic decisions.
Yeah, okay, look, we're not going to get anything specific there. I understand you want to say, wait till the budget, but I wonder if you can explain how you're going to define the tourism industry for the support that I know you can't tell us about yet.
Well, you've made the very point that I want to make, that tourism is such a dispersed industry, from the person who's pumping gas at the Kaikoura service station right through to the aviation industry, through to hospitality, through to accommodation. So it is a very dispersed industry, but we have a tourism recovery package to be announced later in the week. And people will have to wait just a couple more days to see what's in it and how it will help them.
Yeah, I get all that. But look, with respect, Minister, the whole point of this exercise is you come to the committee and we ask questions and you try to answer them. So the question was, how we know it's a dispersed industry, we know it's difficult, but how will you define it was the question.
Well, the tourism industry is an industry that works with or caters for visitors, be they domestic or international. But there isn't a definition of what tourism is. But so
really
many people's lives.
If you've got a budget package to support tourism, you kind of need to be able to define it. That's why I asked the question.
Well, there will be criteria developed for people to access the package. So if they meet the criteria, they'll be able to access the package.
All righty. Always a pleasure, Kelvin. Go well.
And that was MP David Seymour questioning the Tourism Minister Kelvin Davis at the Select Committee today.